today we have a different type of video, kind of a change of pace. I've been meaning to actually do this video for a while, but as a lot of you guys know, of course, I work in the pest control industry. I own the company you see on my shirt, Preferred Pest Management in the Dallas, Texas area. And on my channel overall, I just kind of document my entire business journey. Been doing that for 5 to 10 years now. And of course, we've all seen a lot of these videos, right, where we're ranking everything from like worst to best. And I figured, why not? I hadn't seen anyone, at least as of yet, do it with the pest control industry in terms of products available on the market. So I figured, let's go ahead and do it. So some of these will be pretty straightforward in my opinion, but for those of you that maybe aren't in the pest control industry, because I know from time to time I get like DIY people that, are looking for tips and just tips and tricks and, what chemicals stay away from, what's worth my money, all that stuff. This is going to even help you guys out. So of course, like we said, it's pretty self-explanatory. Bottom tier, we got just total ass, right? Products that you just want to stay away from. And then obviously the superior ones at the top, and then, the mid ones towards the bottom as well. But with that, like I said, first up, pretty obvious in my opinion, we have home defense. I don't know why these pictures are so small. I was trying to figure that out. But obviously home defense is just a total ass of a product. It's not something that you or any of your buddies should be applying around your home. And obviously, if you ever hire a pest control company that is using this, chances are you are hiring the cheapest company that probably shouldn't be in business. I don't even know of any company that's using this product, but even if you see it at the store, which you will, you'll see it at like Home Depot, Lowe's, probably even Walmart, to be honest. Stay away from it. It doesn't work well whatsoever. A lot of people swear by it. I'm like, at the end of the day, and when I say a lot of people, I should add not a lot of professionals. I hear a lot of people that are like DIY that think this stuff works, but to be honest, it's like the lowest of lowest level of product that you're going to find on the market. Not to mention, if I remember right, their advertising is kind of fishy. I don't remember if it's home defense for certain, but I know there's a bunch of them out there that claim, oh, it's going to work for up to a year. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, guys. Even the best products on the market only last about 90 days on the exterior. So let's see, what do we got next here? Let's go with Nyban, a granular product. If you don't know what Nyban is, Nyban, like I said, it's a granular product that you're going to apply around the perimeter of the home or even a business in some cases. It's going to help with all sorts of different pests like American cockroaches, ants of all different types outside of like fire ants and things like that. But a very good product overall. What I like the most about it too is it really hasn't gone up a lot in terms of, obviously everything's gone up with inflation. Nyban hasn't gone up as much as some of its competitors, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. In all honesty, I'm probably going to put Nyban in the A category. I was thinking maybe B, but no, I think because of that pricing advantage, we're going to go ahead and put it in the A category. This is a very good product. If you own a pest control business or even just in the pest control industry, there's a very good chance you've used Nyban or at the minimum one of its, competitors. And again, if you're a DIY person, you can probably get your hands on this. But again, this stuff's going to be pretty expensive, especially when you're buying it from like DIY places and things like that. But at the same time, if you're only using it on your own home, it should last you a good amount of time for sure. Let's see. Next we got is Alpine WSG. Now, Alpine WSG, I'm not even going to spend a lot of time on it. I think by far it is literally one of the best products on the market, specifically, of course, for interior services. We love using this for all sorts of things, from German cockroach cleanouts. And I mean German cockroach cleanouts of all kinds, and residential, most commercial properties. There's not a situation where Alpine WSG is just like we probably don't want to use it here. Of course, it's not going to work good on spiders. Not really much of anything does outside of course, doing a bunch of IPM to limit spider activity in the first place. But Alpine WSG is the gold standard. Let me know down in the comments if you disagree with that. I got a feeling most people in the pest control industry will agree with it. If I were to knock it down to level A, it would be because it is a pretty damn expensive product. But at the same time, you're only using it on the inside, right? So you're mixing it in a 1/2 to 1 gallon B&G or whatever sprayer you're using, and it goes a long way too. Next up, we're going to get into a little bit of baits here. So we got taro bait. Taro bait, I've really debated this one before I started shooting this video because taro bait, in my opinion, just it's amateur, DIY level stuff. But then again, I mean, if I had nothing else to use, like if I didn't have all the other ant gel baits, Advion and things like that, Taro would definitely be the only other product that I would use. So I'm not gonna give it just a total ass rating. We're gonna go ahead and give it a C because, like I said, I mean, the stuff, is it great? No. Is it like my go-to? I've never used it in terms of professionally. But does it work? Can it work? Yes, like, it may get you by, especially if you're not dealing with, like, an all-out ant infestation or anything like that. You know, if you're in a pinch, you gotta do what you gotta do in the meantime. For example, if you're a DIY person or somebody waiting on your pest control company to show up, like, you just have a random ant infestation pop up and you wanna kind of at least get ahead of the curve before the pest control company shows up, you could go ahead and throw a couple of these out and it'll start, at least putting a little dent in that activity, right? Speaking of baits, we'll just keep on rolling here. We got the Combat. I believe this is, yeah, the Combat Ant Gel. To be honest, I'll keep this short and sweet. Anything Combat, it's just total trash. I mean, let's keep it 100 here. Like the roach related stuff, ant bait, all of it, it's awful. Just stay away from it. It's right on that level of, the home defense, just stuff that you just don't want to waste your hard-earned money on. We'll keep rolling with baits too. MGK's cockroach bait. You really can't go wrong with any MGK products from my experience, but I believe this is the Vendetta Nitro, if I recall. They have they have like 3 or 4 different cockroach baits now too, I noticed, but I believe this is the Nitro one. I'm gonna put this up here towards the A tier as well. What I really like about the MGK cockroach baits, I believe all of them, if not most of them do, they are formulated to also have an IGR in them. So while you have, of course, just like most baits, it'll kill them or whatever the case may be. They also have an IGR in there as well, if I recall, which is just pretty cool. And I've had tremendous success. If you have a really bad cockroach infestation and you pair some Alpine WSG along with some Vendetta, Nitro, whatever, product you decide to go with in terms of your cockroach bait from NGK, you're going to be set up on a pretty good path to success. I would even throw in some glue boards in there as well. Glue boards, we'd make what we like to call a roach motel, where we'll fold up our glue board, put a little bit of that cockroach bait in the center of it, and just crack a bunch of those guys into those glue boards. You'll be on your way to getting rid of those German cockroaches. Last bait we have on the list is Advion Ant Gel. Advion Ant Gel, I'm going to go ahead. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and put it in the B category, believe it or not. Not because it's a bad product, but again, I feel like it is the definition of mid. Why? A couple reasons. One, does it work in every situation? No, it doesn't. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. There are times where instead of using Advion Ant Gel, you might need to use OptiGuard Ant Gel. I don't like that. I understand it. There's scientific stuff we won't get into in this video on that, but I like being able to kind of use like one main bait. But that is where I will say this gets a good rating from me, is because in most general ant cases, like odorous house ants, most of them, rover ants, things like that, even carpenter ants, a lot of times, it will work very good. But there are some times where I'm like, man, is this stuff, almost as bad as like taro, right? Like, is it just kind of not that good? Like, I got to get carpenter ant baits involved. And like I said, just different types. You definitely don't want to use it by itself. I'll definitely say that. So, like I said, I can't put it up here at the A, definitely not S, superior category, just because it's just not there in my opinion. Not to mention it's pretty damn expensive too. Again, another product where, a little bit goes a long ways, but for as much as it costs, I would like to see at least a little bit better results. Again, just from my experience. Going back to granular baits for a second, we got Mother Earth. Now, you would think Mother Earth, you're going to have, right up here with Niban, right? Wrong. I'm actually going to put it down here on the B category as well. Again, it's not a bad product or anything. Matter of fact, it's pretty much identical to Niban with some very minor differences. But it is so damn expensive. It's upwards of like 20, 30+%. more in terms of cost than Nyban or even Entice, which isn't on this list, but that's another granular you could use. I'm constantly like having it priced because I used Mother Earth a lot when I first got in the industry, but I'm like, I just can't justify, you know, buying that over products like Nyban and Tice that are much more affordable and literally do the same exact thing. That's one thing I always tell our customers is, we're not the cheapest, but we are the best bang for buck in terms of value because we are still using stuff that literally is the neck and neck with all these other products that feel the need to charge a crazy amount. And we're getting it for a much cheaper price. Like we said, we're literally look it up sometime. You will see a 20 to 30% difference in terms of the price of Mother Earth versus Nyban. Again, not Mother Earth works great. If it was even just 20% cheaper, I would definitely put it right up here in the A category. But because of that, I like being able to, of course, save our company money, which can in turn cause us to be able to delay price increases and things like that for years to come. I might have to put it in the B category. Next up, we got our first repellent, I believe. Yeah, we got Lambda 9.7 CS. If you don't know what that is, in short, it's pretty much the same thing as demand. If you know anything about Lambda related products, they're all relatively the same with some very, very minor differences in their chemical formulations. I don't even think it's a difference in the chemical formulation, as a matter of fact. But either way, we're talking very, very minimal differences. If you don't believe me, literally switch from demand to any other Lambda product for a month or two and see what your results are like. We've used 5 or 6 different kinds. I like Lambda 9.7 CS. Am I gonna put it in the S category? Probably not. I'll probably still put it at A just because, like, is it the end all be all? No, it doesn't work worth a shit on ants. Obviously, most repellents don't work very good on ants. You want to use more non-repellents and baits and things like that, of course, but it's still a very good product and it's considerably cheaper than Demand CS. Speaking of Demand CS, it's like we said, the same exact product, just again about 20 to 30% cheaper. So, and it's not a generic either. It's not like you're going with Seismic or something like that, which for some reason is actually more expensive than Lambda 9.7 CS as well. But again, Lambda products, definitely price those around if you're a pest control company because they always seem to kinda do this little rotation of, "I'm the cheapest this month. I'm the cheapest this month." Like, it just depends. Always be looking around, simply just type in Lambda 9.7 and just go crazy looking for different products. There's a new one that just hit the market recently, I believe, called, DeVito. They also sell it in, like, I think 1 or 2-gallon jug too, which is, like, the only Lambda product that sells it in anything higher than a 32 ounce. So, again, just always be looking. But again, it is a very good product. With it being a microencapsulated chemical, works as good as just about anything when it comes to spiders, which is crazy. The big stigma in pest control is, hey, there's nothing that works against spiders. Microencapsulated chemicals, I'm not going to say they prevent. I always tell people they do not prevent spiders, but we do notice a pretty big drop whenever we use microencapsulated chemicals around those homes and businesses. Then, of course, we got all reliable here. We got Termidor SC. Obviously, Termidor SC is going straight to the S category. You can use it on termite treatments, even though Termidor HE, which we'll talk about here in a second, makes it even faster. Matter of fact, I'm even going to bump it down to the A category because of that. And we'll talk about why here in just a minute. But still very, very good product. You can even use this around homes. Now you need to read the label because our restrictions with it, of course, but you can even use it in some rare cases for like bad ant issues, carpenter ant issues, things like that. And like we said, of course, it's been the gold standard for termite treatments pretty much forever. Which, while we're on that subject, we will go ahead and bring up Termidor HE. That is going straight to the superior category because it is literally pretty much Termidor SC on steroids. You pretty much, how do I explain it? If you're doing a liquid termite treatment, at least, down here, I heard in Oklahoma, apparently there's different rules, which is kind of crazy to me. It sounds like it's going against the label, but whatever. With Termidor SC, you have to use something like 4 gallons for every 10 linear feet when you're doing a termite treatment. Termidor HE, you can use 2 gallons for every 10 linear feet. So what does that mean? That means we're getting jobs done in half the time. And when you actually break down the math, they're virtually the same cost in terms of cost per treatment. And I would argue it actually costs less because of the fact that you are saving the man hours, the labor hours, the hours of, your rig running and things like that, wear and tear on your equipment. To me, it's a no-brainer. Termidor AG is by far the best termite product on the market. And then lastly, we got Tempered FX, the red-headed stepchild. So I actually used to love Tempered FX. I would put it up here, if I was still in my first, second year in the pest control business, because this was kind of my end-all be-all chemical. It seemed to have worked relatively decent on spiders just because I didn't have any spider callbacks from customers. Come to find out, that was just because I was good at explaining to my customers how spiders work and that, you're only really seeing a decrease in them because you're getting rid of their food source and doing other IPM tactics to, get rid of spiders. But you're never going to just completely get rid of spiders, obviously. But it also works very good on different things like ants and cockroaches, things like that. I mean, it's just overall a very good product. Again, one downside to it is very, 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 very expensive. One of the more expensive products out there. So I'm going to have to knock it down to the A category. Like I said, it's still a very good product. It's not something that I'm like, oh, I would never use it again. It's just one of those things that, like, there's so many other products that we can pick from that are going to give us the same result, if not better in some cases, that it's like I said, it's the redheaded stepchild. We love it, but it's like, do we really want to spend the money on it? And I definitely could have included, some more chemicals in here, like Onslaught Fast Cap, in my opinion, is an honorable mention here. We would have definitely put them in the S category because that is by far the best product on the market in terms of scorpion control specifically, as well as, again, it's a microencapsulated, so of course it's going to work a little bit on spider activity as well, especially when you're spraying those hot spots we've noticed. But I think this is overall a pretty good representation, of best to just worst. Like we said, taro, once you get below taro, you're just dealing with all BS, pretty much snake oil, to be honest. And then, of course, the further you go up, the better in quality, and not to anyone's surprise, really, but higher prices as well. So I'm interested to know from you guys, too, how would you rank all of these chemicals? Let me know down in the comments down below. Like, feel free just to go crazy with it, make your own comment of just S, and then A, and then B, and then C, and then little poo emoji there. And let me know, where you would put all these chemicals. Do you think I was too hard on any of these, or maybe too loving on some of them? I tried to be as straightforward, with each one, going from my own personal experience, going from customers' experience with some of these DIY products. And one of these I've used on my own way, way, way back before I got in the industry myself in my first rental when I was like 18 years old. And then let me know in the comments too, are there any other chemicals that you would like me to rate on? Because maybe, who knows, I can do like a follow-up video to this of just different chemicals that I didn't get to in this one. And of course, as always, if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and do so down below. We have over 1,000 videos on this channel now. Just like I said, me documenting my entire business journey. We don't just talk about pest control and the pest control business. We talk about financial freedom and just how to break out of the rat race ultimately. And like I say on this channel, go and get the life that you and your family deserve. And I'll make sure to leave a video somewhere around here that YouTube actually believes is the best video for you to go watch. And I'll see you over there.